distance. Even the speed of light is dwarfed by the unimaginable scale of our galaxy. It took nearly 250 years to bridge the void between Earth and its closest neighboring star. Mankind had mastered the folding of space-time, but relied on the use of warp gates. Massive drone ships journeyed through deep space for centuries, deploying pairs of warp gates which allowed instantaneous travel between connections. Warp gate travel had not become commonplace until the discovery of a stable element, number 126. This element contained bizarre, transmutable properties, allowing it to be reconfigured into different forms of matter. This made it the most valuable and sought-after commodity in the universe. Mankind quickly became completely dependent on element 126, which the first miners named S.P.A.Z. Due to the increasing demand for S.P.A.Z, the Warpgate network became privatized. Anyone with ample funding was able to deploy new and unregistered warp gates. Like a new gold rush, convoys of miners traversed the expanding warp network looking for S.P.A.Z deposits. This drove them closer and closer to the galactic core, where S.P.A.Z deposits became richer and richer. The growing number of isolated colonies became unmanageable. As the unique ecologies of each discovered planet intermixed through trade, potential pandemics became a concern. The United Terran Alliance was formed to control interplanetary contamination. They moved to heavily restrict gate access. Military blockades began to screen all trade ships traveling between gates, attacking any unregistered ships that attempted to use them. For a time, the UTA was able to maintain control, but they soon crumbled under the weight of rapid expansionism and bureaucracy. Unable to manage their fleets and borders, the military hierarchy collapsed. Without central leadership, the UTA fleets dissolved into a series of isolated subcells that rarely communicated or traveled beyond local space. Each military subcell now struggles to control their systems by whatever laws they see fit to implement. Despite the enforced isolation, rogues continue the gold rush while refugees amass hidden away from the UTA's eye. They survive within the vast junk fields of an abandoned Earth. There they build a massive flagship named the Clockwork. With it, they intend to travel to the galactic core in search of a legendary motherlode of rares.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Space Pirates and Zombies. This will be the second LP that I'm really doing. Dust Force doesn't really count, that was just something I did quickly. Anyways, unfortunately that was the only narrated part, so I'll be reading all this off. And if you couldn't tell already, that first part was narrated by Total Biscuit. If you don't know who that is, then you are on the wrong side of YouTube. That's for sure. Anyways, the studio that developed this game is MinMax Studios. It's a two-man development team. They spent 2 years making this game, and I think it was during the early beta, Total Biscuit did a WTF of this, bringing massive attention to this game. And they decided to ask him to narrate the game, and of course he did, as you could tell. Anyways, let's get started. So Don Gibson is the captain, so okay folks, it's that time again. This will be our 7th engine test this week. I don't want to go to bed with radiation burns again tonight, alright? Let's get those puppies fired up and good and proper this time. Oh yes, you see, we're lucky the toilet's even flush on this brick. I've managed to bootstrap the indication coil to the main core to boost output, but I don't expect it to maintain a viable reaction. Nuclear particle physics and duct tape do not mingle well, yes. Ironically, one of the first nukes was made with a lot of duct tape. Carl, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Just turn the bloody thing on. Fuck. That isn't good. Damn, the magnetic stabilizer's blue. We have major breaches on docks 6 through 10. Our escort ships are gone. We're venting atmosphere. We have crew casualties. Oh, crewmen can always be replaced. The ship damage, on the other hand, well, I told you that piece of junk wouldn't hold back an overload. Did you honestly expect any different? Look at what I have to work with here. The blown stabilizer systems will never have... The blown stabilizer system will have to be replaced before we can even think of trying this again. So come on, I'm sure there's another one in the junk field somewhere. Still have a working hangar, so let's fire up the fabricator systems and build a ship to retrieve it. So, I won't be narrating everything, and that's for sure, only this beginning stuff for the most part. Actually, I might narrate more, but for the most part, I'm not going to narrate a lot. So, this is our main screen. This is our menu screen, basically. We have the ship's log, which has our missions and advisory, which I don't know how this works. I've never done it, used it. And then we have the hangar where we build ships. We have the tactics panel, which isn't working right now. We have research where we tech and level up things. We have the system map, which shows the current star system, and then the star map. Now, if I don't cut the clip I had at the beginning, if you actually see that, you'll see that I set the world size to the galaxy size to have 225 systems, which means in the end game we're gonna have 225 places we have to go to. But for the most part, this is a huge game, so it's gonna be long lasting. So yeah, this is the main part of the game. It has full Newtonian physics, so you'll continue to drift and etc. All respective to your ship's mass and everything, and how it's put in, how it's set up in the code and everything. So they've actually done quite a lot of improvement. I've been playing this game since the beta, and never fully completed it because I accidentally overrode my fire and save, and was initially waiting until they finished implementing a lot of the stuff that they are planning to do before doing an LP of it. Well, that should fix the stabilizer, but the overload compromised the structural integrity of the ship more than I initially thought. We can't jump with a breach like this. I've written up an extensive list of repairs that will have to be satisfied before I'll conduct another test. Meanwhile, I'll be in my quarters. Let me know when you're done cleaning up your failure. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I really do hate that, man. We're gonna need to replace more than just one ship if we expect to cork that hole anytime soon. That's unfortunately easier said than done. The whole damage vented most of our resupply. We even lost all the damn liquor. We need to restock before we can build more ships. There's a mining station in the system. Elsa, you've worked with the miners before. See if you can convince them to let us harvest in their territory. So this is one of the biggest game mechanics. Everything costs money, obviously, all your ships and all those parts. With the exception of goons. Goons are crew. You can see the 3 resources up there. I contacted the mining base. They're all drunk on industrial paint strippers, so it wasn't too hard to convince them to let us harvest some res. We have to be very careful around here. The mining base is automated and won't think twice about slicing us in half with that mining beam. Let's siphon off what we need to move on. So, you could read this yourself. Oh wait, no, never mind. This is... They changed the symbol. Your prospecting request has been granted. Please refrain from tampering with the automated mining systems. If you happen to be exposed to the vacuum space, please proceed to your nearest eye wash station and rinse thoroughly. Thank you, and have a pleasant day. This should be interesting. The asteroid they are drilling into is even more dense than you, Elsa. There is no way we could crack it. Only a station-class core mining beam can even come close. You'll have to grab the spill off the table scraps. I feel like such a transient. So, tutorial on res, you could look at this yourself. I'm not going to bother because I already know all this stuff. So, basically, this is the tutorial mission. It's going to be slow and boring. Game does pick up pretty quickly, though. This is your starter ship. It's the short bus. It's completely free, which is actually kind of good even in the late game because you could just throw it away endlessly and just use it to scout positions, or even you can even use them to take down capital ships if you're lucky. So I'm playing on normal difficulty doing this run just because a hardcore run would take too long, because it'd be so tedious from all the dying, because at first hardcore mode was hardcore insane. Anyways, the hardest difficulty wasn't too hard, but I think it might have been a bug. Anyways, like I was saying earlier, you could see all 3 resources up in the upper left-hand corner, which is Res, Goons, and Data. Data is basically your experience, Goons are your crew, and Res is your currency. Every ship has a shield and armor slot. As you can see, this little ship has no armor, but it does have some shields. And then we're gonna have to make an extra trip probably, because this thing only has cargo space for 10 res. I mean, not even a real cargo hold. It's basically just whatever the pilot crams in behind him. Now on easy, we shouldn't come across anything that proves difficult for me at all. So it should be a relatively fast run to through the story of the game, but this game is huge, so even despite that, it'll go on for quite a while. So what is it? Okay, never mind. So there is tons of different weapons in this game, tons of different add-ons and stuff that you can put on the ships. And there's 4 factions in this game, one of which is, it includes your faction, which is pirates. Then the other is UTA, as you saw in the intro, which is usually quite troublesome, but not a problem, just annoying to deal with. And then, so there's you, the pirates, the UTA, and then there's civilians of the system, which are in some cases basically in rebellion against the UTA in the system. Anyways, on to the story. Now we have enough res to build the extra ship. We're gonna need. Plus, I was able to officially kick ass and salvage another hangar. We should be able to support 2 ships now. That being the good news, here's the bad news. The explosion all but wiped out our construction database, and nobody backed up their hard drive. Luckily, I was able to recover the data for a single small fighter ship called the Dart. Recommend we build a couple. Our current ships can't even cut butter, let alone sign up against any UTA ships. Well, finally some progress. Let's see to it that we collect what we need to build 2 darts. We're not leaving until we have some ships fit for combat. So, this is one of the biggest things. You could read that yourself. I'm not going to bother reading it. It talks about ship customization. Anyway, so this is one of the biggest things in the game. And there's mining, which is dull and tedious. And I'm actually going to probably cut after this, because I like to get a full res bay at this point. Because the beginning is quite annoying dealing with just darts, because I'm bad with the fighters. Anyways, I'll explain game mechanics as they come to, but for now we're gonna be mass mining. You only have 3 hangars in the game, and each hangar could only support certain size ships. So the hangar we're currently using could only support up to, I think, this is a tiny ship. It can only support up to small. So we don't have to worry about just a second. So I was about to say we can now go to the tactics page, but I guess we can't. You could modify AI behavior in there, so it could auto mine, but hopefully it is already auto mining. Anyways, back to the hangar. I'm gonna let's see, change rule. Okay, so never mind. We only have knowledge of these hull types for now. It goes all the way up to huge. I think 5 different hull tiers. Anyway, so what we're gonna aim to unlock is this one, the gyro, this one, which is the hatchet, and then this one, which is the turtle, I think. Yeah, the turtle head. Anyways, I'm gonna cut it until I'm done mining and getting all the stuff we need, and I'll see you when we get back.